Hey there, welcome back to the table. So let's get cracking. We got the final, what do you call it, encounter, but this is actually the mission target. Now, there are some extra rules when it's the mission target that we've always skipped whenever we start. So it says if the encounter is the target ship type is mentioned, flip over the enemy surface ship deck and sort until you find it, which we did. If the specific sub is mentioned, we do the same. If there's no, so we handled all this. And then we place them on it. Okay, so there's nothing extra different there. It's just basically spelling out that you're very likely going to have some named ships, which we definitely did. This is treated just like any other encounter. So the rules from a battle perspective don't change. We're going to have an encounter complete, and we get experience points and all that stuff. But then we move to a mission debriefing. And so the mission debriefing only has 3 steps to it, and I'm going to lay those out now. If the target is destroyed, we get the victory points that are listed here. We get to move the TF 1 spot to the right, and we talked about that. That's the task force there. And then any ship that did not participate in the mission, and I'm talking about we left them at home, they get to all damage is removed except for hull damage, and the rest of the ship, if it has hull damage, gets to reduce that damage by 1. And then any rested ships and commanders reduce 2 stress plus cool. And then all of your ordnance that you did not use is discarded. That's it. That's the only thing that changes. So we've already done 3 encounters. Now, granted, we've been learning the rules as we go. We've been struggling with that in some spots. But this is really just a 4th encounter of the 3rd kind, right? So it's a 4th encounter, but we're, first of all, we know the rules better. And then secondly, this is what matters. And we have 3 starred ships. So there's a lot of experience points to be had. And, of course, that's the mission objectives. This is where we score our victory points. And remember, we're playing the long campaign, which states that we need to do 6 targets. This is just one of the 6. And we need 36 victory points to get a great evaluation. This will give us 5 plus 5 more because we're up here in the red. That'd give us 10 of our 36 victory points. So this is a very important mission. So we made it this far. This John Rogers is going to move up to the screening. And in fact, I actually think I'm going to flip him around. I'm going to actually put the Dewart up on the screening. That is going to make him go shaken, but you don't add the stress until later. So the Dewart's going to go up into the screening, and here we go. We are off and running. I wanted to get these torpedoes out. So who do I give the torpedoes to? It has to be somebody who can handle a stress. Because in between missions, they give a stress to whoever they give these to. The Dewart is at the limit. If he gets 1 more stress, he is shaken. We don't want to do that. His helicopter could sure use those torpedoes, but it's not going to work. See, the John Rogers doesn't have any torpedoes. We got plenty on the Spruance. The Lady Gulf doesn't have any torpedoes. Actually, I think, you know what? Just for the sake of it, we'll give it to the John Rogers. That will increase his stress to 4. The 4 doesn't hurt him because he. I know that's hard for you to read, but he's got an okay status until he gets 5 stress. They're definitely going to be shaken by the time the mission's over. But yeah, I think we're good. All right, so I gave all those missiles or torpedoes to 2 of the ships. So here we go. We do the sonobuoy detection. There is none. But we got to put the TF2 tokens back into the cup. All right. So that's first step. Second step, perform fast task force actions. So we have 2 of them up front, and we have a ton of ships, as you can see here. This one is the closest, range 4, so we're going to go after him. And I'm going to do it with the Spruance is going to go first. The Spruance has a +1 skill value for his ship. So we're going to roll, and I rolled a crappy 2. All right, so he gets a +1 for his skill value. The range is nothing. He gets +1 for his screen, so that's +2. The enemy ship has a noise management of 1, so that reduces it to just +1. And I think that's it. I don't think there's any other bonuses to be... Oh, surface detection is -2. That's not good. So surface detection of -2 puts him at a -1. Yeah, we didn't detect anything. You jerk. All right, so then we're going to go ahead and let the Dewart is going to try to find him. And this is going to be just as bad. The Dewart doesn't even get a +1. And the screening gives a +1, but the detection is -2. And then his noise management is -1 more. Yeah, that was awful, in fact. So both of them failed. So now we have our commander action. I'm going to have the Spruance try again, because we need to get a detection going. So we're going to use the commander action to give a bonus action to the Spruance. And I rolled oh, come on, a 4. The Spruance does add a +2, but he gets a -3. So that turns into a 3. And he needed a 5 to do a detection. Yeah, this is awful. Absolutely awful. I've never seen such horrible rolling. So we did nothing during the fast step. So now we move enemy units. So I'm going to start with enemy ship 1. I got an 8. His move value is +2, so it's a 10. So he goes range 1, and he pings. And I'm trying to remember, if he pings, does that mean he's actually trying to detect somebody? I think it is. Place a ping counter. Apply the modifier when a ship detects. During the enemy ship subdetection phase, use the active detection numbers. So, he doesn't actually try to detect somebody now, but during his turn, we're going to use the ping numbers. So he's going to have better numbers on his ship, and you're going to see that here. He's got better numbers there, but there's no sub. So I don't understand why he would do that. We don't have a sub. So I'm wondering, like, do we skip this? Enemy SSBNs do not ping. Oh, that's right. We played this before. He doesn't know that we don't have a sub, so he's pinging for one. Okay, so that's going to make it real easy to reveal him. Although he passed it last time. Now we're going to do this ship. So it's a 3. He gets a +2 to his movement. So he's up to a 5. So he's going to patrol, which means he stays where he's at. This one, 4, gets a +2 as well. So it goes to 6. That's also a patrol. So he stays where he's at. And now the sub. I rolled a 5. There is no number here for modifying. So a 5 means he's going to move range -1. So he's going to move in 1 space. Okay, so now we're going to go through and do actions. None of us are detected. Enemy ship 1 is going to try to detect us. He did the ping. So he would use his red numbers, but there are no subs, so it doesn't do him any good. He has 1 contact written on his sheet. So we're going to draw 1 token, and he's going to try to detect ship number 4. So number 4 is the John Rogers. So here we go. Let's roll for him. We rolled a 9. Where's that roll when we're rolling? You jerk. Okay, so he rolled a 9. The John Rogers has a noise management of 1. So that's a -1. This is a -2. So that makes it a -3. And what else does he got? I think that's it. So a 9 minus 3 is 6. There is no range penalty. So a 6 is a detection level of 1. He was 1 away from getting a detection level of 2. But he does detect the John Rogers. So ship number 4 is detected. And I'm just reflecting that here. All right. So he would also attack if this was a detection level of 2 or better. That's not the case. So his turn's over. Enemy ship 2 would only attack if they pass a command and control. Now, here's the problem. Enemy ship 2 only has range 4 attack, and he's at range 5. So he can't do that. So what he's going to try to do is improve the detection. That's the next thing on his list. So we're going to go ahead and roll. We rolled an 8. And again, it gets a minus 3 from us, so 7, 6, 5. And a 5 for him is not enough. So he's got the same detection capabilities as the other. So he was not able to improve the detection. And by the way, I said I would look this up between missions. This is only used in the carrier and sub expansion. It's not used in the base game. So that's why we're not doing anything with it. Okay, enemy ship 3 is even further away. So he's got the same task. He's going to try to improve the detection. And of course, they're all rolling really well. That 9 is subject to a minus 3. So that puts it down to 6, which again got super close. He needed a 7 to improve the detection. Oh, I'm sorry, he did get the 7 because we add a +1 because of this. So he did improve the detection. It is now a level 2 detection. Now, he would attack, except he's 6 range away and he doesn't have a weapon that shoots that far. So we do have the John Rogers is now detection level 2. And then we get to the sub. And then the sub, as you can see here, has a detection level 5/7. And so he can't improve the detection. So I'm going to assume that he's going to try to detect something else. And then this 3 is a range. I'm trying to remember what that range means. I think it's the range for, is it detection? So the thing is if the enemy sub detects us, he reveals himself. So we flip the counter over and figure out what's what. So we do eventually, whether he detects us or we detect him, it is the detection range. The maximum range the unknown enemy sub can attempt a detection. So he can't do a detection where he's at. So what on earth does he do during his turn? Let's look. Increase detection, draw chips, perform detection attempt. I think he does nothing. He just sits tight. So now we move on to the slow phase. Okay, so they took their actions. Now we perform our slow actions. Okay, this guy pings, so that means we can try to get him revealed. And we have the John Rogers. I don't get the +1 bonus, but let's roll. And there we go. We got an 8. So the John Rogers card is a 5, 8, 10, right? Is for the detection levels. But now, as you know, the ship has a noise management of 1, which points it down to a 7. The John Rogers has no bonus. He has a bonus against subs, but not against ships. So he doesn't change it there. The card up here, the weather, is -2, so that's -3, right? The noise management plus the weather card. However, the ping is a +3 for us. It's a -3 for him. So that cancels everything out. So we have a natural 8. There is no range penalty. He's not a screening ship, so that would have bumped it up to a 9, but he's not. But an 8 is good enough for a level 2 detection. So he is now detected level 2. That is excellent. So if we try to detect him again, we get to add that +2 now to the detection. We can even get it to level 3 if we wanted. But what I'm going to do instead is we have the Lady Golf here. And I think for the Lady Golf, we're going to attack. So I have two RGM-84s that I'm going to shoot, and I'm going to get a +1 bonus to the second one. And so, as always, the blue is going to be the first. So let's roll. All right, so we got an 8 and a 5, and so I'll put them here respectively to remind us. Okay, so let's go over the bonuses. So his missile defense is a 2. So that's a -2, but the DM is a +2, so they cancel each other out. The Lady Gulf gets a +1, so we're now at +1, and I think that's it. There's no range penalty. There's no damage on the ship. Let me check one more time. Yeah, that's it. So we hit for 1 damage, and it only has 1 health. This second one would have gotten another +1 because of he's the second in the volley. But we only needed to hit him 1 time, and so we do. So there's 1 down, scratch 1. So that gives us a experience point for the Lady Gulf because it took out a star ship. So that puts us up to 5 for him. He's going to be leveling up at the end of this mission, and both of these counters are gone. Alright, so that was excellent. We took out the enemy ship 1. He didn't get a chance to do anything. I really do enjoy this aspect of the game. It's, I don't know, there's something satisfying about the way this plays out. Okay, next is we still have the commander bonus action. Nobody else is detected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have, see, the Dewart helicopter has no munitions left. But we're going to launch the helicopter on the Spruance. So that does put a stress on the helicopter. So I will do that right now. Spruance helicopter is going to get 1 stress. And his name is Pitch. So Pitch is launched, and so that is 1 action. Then this is 2, 3, and 4. So he's going to be there, and that's it. He gets 4 actions, and he's done. So now it's the we're done with the slow task force actions. We decrease detection levels, so this drops down to 1. Doesn't go to 3, it drops to 1. So he's still detected, but not as much. And we decrease the battle turns, so we're down to 4 battle turns. And we can decide to end the encounter. Hell no, we're in it to win it. So now we go back to the top. So there's no Sonoboy. Perform fast task force actions. So we got 2 ships here. His helicopter's already up. He doesn't have any ammunition for his helicopter, so we're going to do detect. I think we're going to go after the enemy ship here, so we're going to try to detect this enemy ship right here. So we're going to start with the Dewart. Ooh, that's a nice roll. So we got an 8. There is a range modifier of -1. The weather is -2, so that's -3. The noise management on this one is not as good, so it's a 0. So we're at -3. The Dewart gets no bonuses, but we do get +1 for the screening, so that's a -2. So that becomes a 6. So I'm going to take the tokens off the card so I can show you the Dewart card. But he detects at a 5, so we got a level 1 detection on ship number 2. So bada bing, ship number 2 has a level 1 detection. So that's good. Now we got the Spruance. So what do we want to do? Do we try to detect that enemy sub? You know, with him being 5 range away, that's really far. Although if you look at the thing here, that's only a -1 for us. So it's not bad. He does have a noise management of 2, so it'll be a -3. Yeah, let's try to detect the sub. So we're going to try. He rolled a 6. He gets a -3, like we said. but then the screening force gives a +1, and then his bonus against subs is +1, so it actually becomes a -1. So this turns into a 5. So I'm gonna take off some tokens here, grab his card. So for him, a 5 is good enough for a level 1 detection. So we were able to detect the sub as well. So I'm happy with both of those. Level 1 detection is better than nothing. Right, so we got level 1 detection, boom. And maybe to be more consistent, we put that there. Oh, that means we got to flip this over and see what we got. Oh. I rolled a 10. Oh my gosh, a 10 is nothing, as you can see. So there's nothing there. That's interesting. We could have rolled almost anything else and gotten something. So we confirmed it's just a whale. And so our helicopter's out there basically doing nothing. Those Mk-46s don't work against ships. So don't get to use those. Now there are anti-ship helicopter weapons. We just didn't equip any. So that's an interesting situation. Now the helicopter is independent from this point, but basically we're going to just turn around and go 1, 2, 3, and then land. So the helicopter is no longer a target for them, and his stress is now 2. But there's nothing else to go after. There's no sub. Okay, so we did our screening, and now enemy movement. So we're going to start with ship 2 here. I rolled a 4. He gets a +2, so he's up to 6. He's patrolling. One in the back, I rolled a 7. Gets a +2, he's up to 9. He's moving in. So we got 2 ships together. Okay, so now they get to do their action. Both of them are range 5. They can't attack. The best they can do is try to detect. So I'm going to just roll 2 detects. This one's for the ship 3, or 2. This is for ship 3. So the first one is going to be bad. That's a 3 minus 3, which is 0, and so it's a 3 minus 2 because of this, minus 1 because of his noise management. So that puts it to 0, and then he gets a +1 because the detection level is +1. That's not in the rule book, just to remind people, but that is still how I'm playing. But it doesn't get him anywhere close to detecting anything. But there is one clarification here, and I didn't do this last time, so you can put a little asterisk on me. He's got 2 contacts written on his card. I need to pay attention to that. So this, he gets to try to contact, or he's trying to detect 2 different ships. So here's the other one. He's going to try to detect ship number 2. And so I'm going to roll again for that one. So that one's a lot better. He got a 7. This is -2, which is 5. And then ship number 2 is the DeWert, which has a noise management of 1, so that makes it 4. But a 4, I think, is good enough, because, yeah, his detection lets him get a level 1 detection at a 4. So we got a level 1 detection on ship 2. All right, now this is the second ship, which he only has 1 contact. He, like I said, they're out of range, so they can't attack us. So he's going to try to improve the detection level. So which one is he going to improve the detection level of? That's random. So we're going to just do he's even, he's odd. I rolled even. So he's going to try to increase the detection on the DeWert. We already know his roll. He rolled an 8. And that's going to detect something. So we determined it's a -3. So 7, 6, 5 with the noise management and the environment. However, this gives him a +1 to 6. And this is enemy ship 3, not enemy ship 2. A 6 is not enough. He needed a 7. So he was close. Very, very close. And in fact, I forgot with both of them, they get a -1 for their range. So technically speaking, I don't think ship 2 was ever detected. because I think we had exactly a 4. And that -1 for the range would have made it a 3. But I'm not going to retcon because I can't remember. I think I did that wrong. I think I forgot to add the -1 for the range. So I don't think he's actually detected at this time. But we're going to keep playing because I want to see how this plays out. And I don't want to retcon. Okay, so their turn's over. Now it's our turn to do slow actions. So we do have a detection level of 1 on this ship. And we have the John Rogers and the Lady Gulf ready to rock and roll here. So, a detection level of 1 is not super fantastic. And then the range being a 5 means they're out of range for all of our attacks. So I think I'm going to use the... I could use the commander ability to move them closer, but then we're in range of their attacks too. So that's the dilemma I have. I would rather do that whenever we get back to the fast actions. I could try to attack these guys if I move them in. I have missiles I can launch with both of my ships. This one is not detected at all, though. So we'd have to do the search and destroy, which has a lot lower odds of succeeding. Because you got to pass the search test before you can even do the attack test. This is where having the AGM 114s for our helicopters would have been nice. So if I don't use my commander action to move them closer, then I am doing nothing but trying to detect them. That's all I can do. And I think that is what I will do. So I'm going to use a commander action to have the Spruance try to detect this one that hasn't been detected yet. So let's roll for that one. And so I rolled a 6, which is decent. And Spruance gets a +1. The range is a -1, so they cancel. This is a -2, and this is a -1, so that's -3. So that becomes a 3, but the screening force gets a +1, which makes it a 4. And so for the Spruance, he detects at a 5. So he failed. 6 wasn't good enough. And it's because of the range. So now we got the John Rogers, which has no bonus at all. So the John Rogers is going to try to detect enemy ship 2 better. Because since he has no bonus, there's no chance in trying to get the other one. So that's a horrible roll. So again, we get the -2 for the weather, the -2 for the ship's NM plus the range, so that's -4. The DM +1 makes it -3. The John Rogers gets no bonus. The screening, no bonus, so it's a -3. This is a dismal failure. And now we have the Lady Gulf, who detects with a 4. He actually detects better than the destroyers do. So we're going to go ahead and try. Yeah, we're going to try to detect. So I'm going to roll. Who am I trying to detect? That's a good question. I think we're going to go with enemy ship 2 because we have a better shot. There we go. We got a 7. So again, a -2 and a -1, or -2, so that's -4. But the detection here gives us a +1, and he gets a +1 for his skill. So this only becomes a -2, so that gets reduced to a 5. I needed a 6. I can't increase the detection level, so that was all a big waste of actions for me. Alright, slow task force actions are over. All detection levels go down by 1. So these two are still detected, but they're at level 0, and this one's at 0 as well. Okay, we're now down to 3 battle turns left. I am not ending the encounter, so there's no sonoboys. We get to do our fast actions. So I am, as a commander, going to move towards them. I need to get rid of that -1 bonus. And then we're going to start with the Dewart, and the Dewart is going to try to detect number 2 here. And I rolled a 7, so that's good. The number 2 ship, actually the number 2 ship does not have the noise modifier issue. So I did something wrong again. The number 3 ship has a noise modifier reduction, but not 2. So that means there's only a -2 here, not a -4. It would have been a -3. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm screwing up so much. So 7 -2 for the weather is 5. This is, there's no noise management, there's no DM, and then we get +1 for screening, so that makes it a 6. And that's it. There's no bonus for the skill, so we're at 6. So the Dewart at a 6 is still a level 1 detection, but that's good. We got it back up to level 1. Alright, so then the Spruance is going to try to detect enemy ship 3, which has no detection at all. And I rolled a 1, and I'm not even going to bother doing the math. So that was horrible. Alright, so we're done there. Now we got to perform enemy movement. So I am going to roll blue for the enemy ship 2, and this is enemy ship 3. So we got a 6 and a 9. They both get a +2. So enemy ship 2 at an 8 is going to move 1 space in. Enemy ship 3 at an 11 is going to move 1 in, and it's going to ping. Well, that helps. Okay, so now it's their turn. And we're going to start with enemy ship 2 here. And enemy ship 2 is going to... these are considered detected, even though they're level 0. So he's going to attack. Which one? We're going to do even odd. So odd is he's going to attack ship number 4, which is the John Rogers. So his attack logic is we're going to roll. On a 1 to 6, he's going to shoot 1 missile. On a 7 or more, he'll shoot 2. So let's see. That's on the line. Oh, I rolled a 10. He's shooting 2 missiles at the John Rogers. And the missiles are a 5 or a 9 for a hit. So I'm going to roll the 2 dice for the missiles. The blue is always going to be the first one. So we got an 8 and a 7. And I'm assuming that the second missile gets a +1 advantage just like it does for us. And he rolled really well, so we're in trouble. Alright, let's do some modifiers here. Let's start with the first one. It's at an 8. He has no skill. The range is not an issue. Our missile defense for the John Rogers is a 1. Okay, so that reduces it to a 7. But we're not done. Because remember, I paid 26 SO points for this Lady Gulf. And the Lady Gulf has a missile shield where his missile defense gets added to it. So that's 2 more. So that 8 becomes a 7, and then a 6, and then a 5. So it's reduced down to a 5 now. And then the detection level adds 0. And that's it. So he has a 5 on his missile, and his missile hits with a 5, unfortunately. So we do get hit. That's not good. We were almost out of the woods. Alright, the John Rogers with a missile gets 3 stress. And what I don't know is that added right now? I'm assuming it is. And then, yeah, I got to look some things up real quick. 1 second. Okay, got it figured out. It's definitely not good. So what this means is the 3 stress does get added immediately. And then that little symbol means that 1 hull damage is done to the ship. So we have 3 total hull damage, or hull for the ship. So he's got 2 hull left. And what was I going to say? He gets 3 stress, so that's the part that sucks. He's at 4 stress right now, so I just need to grab another thing. Add 3 more. He's up to 7, so that puts him to shaken. He's almost unfit for duty. Alright, so But we're not done. Now we got another one coming in. This gets a +1, so that goes to an 8 just like that one. And all the rules stay the same, so that means we get hit again. There's nothing that changes here. There's nothing, that modifies it any differently. So we're drawing yet another one. And this one is a sub-detect -2, which thankfully we don't need to do. And this one's repairable. But there's no hull damage on this one, if you'll notice. So it is a damage that's repairable. But, yeah. So, whew, that is stressful. That is so stressful. But his turn's over. Next we go to enemy ship 3. Now it's his turn. And he's attacking as well, even odd. And we rolled odd, so he's going after TF4. He's going after the John Rogers just like the other one. And he's got a similar thing. If he rolls a 9 or a better, he's shooting 2 missiles. So what do we roll? We rolled a 1. So he's shooting 1 missile. He needs a 5 to hit. And he rolled a 5. And I can tell you right now he's not hitting with that because our missile defense is 3. Because of the missile shield that we have. So enemy ship 3 missed. Thank goodness. Okay, so their turn's over. Now it's the slow actions. We have the John Rogers who's limping along. He's now shaken, so he gets a -1 on any ship-to-ship action. And he's almost basically out of action here. And then we also have an extra commander action that we can do. Well, with the commander action, I am going to use the Spruance because we need to get this detected. So there's my 3, which is a horrible roll. We get a -2 because of this. He gets a -1, so that reduces that to a 0. The Spruance does give a +1 and then a +2 for that. And the Spruance is at a 2, but the ping gives us 3 more. So that puts us to 3, 4, 5. And if it wasn't for that, we would not have detected this dang guy. But he has a detection level of 1 now. So we can kill him. Alright, so the John Rogers is damaged. And he's going to fire 2 missiles. And he's going to go after the enemy ship 3. This one. So we're going to launch, and you know the standard rules for the dice. So it's 4 first and then 8 second. And here we go. Okay, so the John Rogers gets a -1. So that becomes a 3. It's canceled with the +1 for that. So we're still at a 4. In order for that missile to hit, we need a 6. And we're just not going to get it. Because that ship has a missile defense of 1. So there's nothing to be had there. There's no more bonuses to get. So, so this one misses. Then the next one is an 8, which is a much better situation. His missile defense is 1. The skill is -1, so this becomes a 6. But this is a +1, which makes it a 7. There's no range penalty. There's nothing else to impact it. And then I get another +1 because it's a second in the volley. That is a hit. And ship number 3 has only 1 hull, so we do destroy it. So this one is a hit and a kill. So we get to add another experience point because we took out another starship. And this one is for the John Rogers. So he's up to 4. And then, of course, we get to our Lady Gulf, who's going to do the exact same thing. Here's 2. But this time we're going after the enemy ship 2. Same rules. Oh, I rolled 2 7s. I don't think we need to go through the math on this one. I'm just going to check his missile defense. It's only a 1. The Lady Gulf gets a +1 on top of everything else. This is another +1. I mean, we only need a 6. There's not enough negatives in the world to take that down. So he's destroyed as well. And the Lady Gulf gets another experience point. And we do have some damage, but the mission is accomplished. So we didn't come out of that unscathed, but we are okay. Now, there are possible repairs that we can do, at least for one of them. And then the hull damage only gets repaired if we do a mission without the ship. And that might be the case because he has 7 stress as well. So we may not do anything with him in the future upcoming mission here. All right. So I want to make sure we end the encounter properly. So the first thing we do is we draw an event card. We're going to gain 4 SO points. That is excellent. I am all about the SO points. We could never have too many. All right, so that's written down. Next, we evaluate the encounter. I don't know what that means. Evaluate the encounter. I mean, we won. That's evaluate the encounter. I think that's all it's basically asking us to do is evaluate the winning conditions. Yeah. It's basically saying to do this. So we just got 5 victory points, but because it's a red target, it's 5 more. So we just scored 10 victory points. And I'm actually going to write the victory points under the commander here. So I'm going to put 10 VP for the commander. So he helped us to get 10 victory points. And then the task force modifier moves over by 1. And so what that means is that this is now over the 3. And it's still a 3, but we're 1 step closer to not being a 3. Okay, that's done. Next, add stress. And this is an interesting situation. This helicopter did not launch, so I'm going to reduce his stress by 1. Or no, he gets reduced by 1 because he didn't go on the mission. This one is a 4 and becomes a 5. And I'm trying to do this with one hand, so bear with me. So we'll change that to a 5. And then this is a 7, which becomes that becomes a 6 actually, because he gets +2. He was up front. This is a 7, which becomes an 8. So we're going to flip that over. And then this is a 3, which becomes he gets +2, but he has a cool of 1. So it becomes a 4. And then this is a 4, which becomes a 5. Like so. And then our commander goes to 4. And we need to give him an experience point. He's up to 4 now. And then we need to award the experience points. And I'm just going to confirm it, but I'm pretty sure that because we did the mission target, we're going to get an extra experience point. So that puts us up to 2 instead of 1. I just need to make sure the commander gets it or doesn't. So each task force ship earns 1 for the encounter. If the target was destroyed, each ship and commander earns an additional 1. In addition, you get 1 for destroying critical ships, but we were taking care of that. Add 2 XPs if the flagship was screening, and 1 if it was a main force. So it's always been main force in these missions. So yes, we get 1 more experience point for everybody, including the commander. So the commander is now 5. This is now 7, 4, 5, 3. All right? All right, so hopefully you trust me enough. I'm just going to read it to you. The commander, Brian, needs 6 victory points or experience points to level up. So he's 1 away. The DeWert, right here, needs 3. So I'm going to cross these out. And so now he went from average, and now he's skilled. So I know he leveled up twice on the same mission. So his average moves to skilled. So let's just pay attention here. It's a 0, 0, -1, cool value of 1, 1, 1, 0. Now it's 1, 2, 0. So it's a little bit better. I don't think their equipment gets better. I think it's just this stuff down here that changes. But we might see a situation where that could be different. Okay, and then with 6 stress, he is still shaken, but that's to be expected. All right, so he's promoted. So next we have the John Rogers, has 5 experience. He needs exactly 5, so he's leveling up. And he also went up 2 skill levels, so he's up at 6 skilled. So I'm going to take off his damage and all that stuff, and let's check him out. So he's average, 010, 101, cool of 0. He now has a cool of 1 and a 110, so this is a big jump, and 111. So he actually upgraded a lot with that one. All right, we're not done yet. So now next up is the Spruance. Spruance has 4, and he needs 6. So he doesn't have enough. And then the Lady Golf has 7 and needs 5. So I'm going to cross out the 5. And the Lady Golf is going to go up. It's average now, so it's going to become skilled. All right, so let's take a look at the Lady Golf. So here you can see a cool of 0, 100, 112. And then now that we move to skill, it's still 112, but now it's 111. Cool is still 0. But it'll eventually get awesome because the cool will go up. This will be, look at that, the ship is +3. And then look at the missile defense, it becomes 3. And that's added to all the ships in the fleet. So that's the part that's really cool. All right, so that's it. The commander leveling up is actually a big deal as well. Obviously, it hasn't happened yet, but he's 1 experience point away. So right now he's at skilled, and so he would become veteran. And just to put it in perspective, he's going, well, he's still going to have just as much, but he's going to gain a cool value. So he won't gain stress anymore. Because since he's in a main task force, he's only gaining 1 stress per mission or encounter, and so a cool value of 1 is all he needs. So anyways, and then also he gets he can resupply ships between turns for 2 stress, and that's battle turns. And then eventually we get 4 SO points, but we're not quite there yet. We're not even at the veteran yet, so still a little bit of ways to go, but we've only done 1 target. And there you have it. So just to give you a hover, this is the Lady Golf. Its helicopter didn't see any action. Still had a whole bunch of RGM-84. Not a whole bunch. Yeah, actually, quite a bit. But this is because of the ordnance ship. The Spruance has 4 stress and has a whole bunch of Mark 46s, ASROC. But again, because of the ordnance ship, we never needed our anti-air, so that's a lesson learned. Helicopters saw no action. The Rogers has the damage, 8 stress, a whole bunch of torpedoes, again because of the ordnance ship. Otherwise, it basically used everything it had. And then the Dewart was almost bare bones, has 6 stress. So they all have a lot of stress. Now, I thought for sure that there was a repair step that you get to do at the end of a encounter. So let me make sure. There is. If a TF ship has suffered repairable damage, you may attempt to repair prior to the next encounter. So this is all part of the getting stress and promoting people. So the repair number for the Rogers is an 8 or better. Excuse me, so, and I didn't repair. Next thing on my list is I need to, I finished the mission now, so we're heading back home, of course, and we don't have to like turn around and go backwards and deal with encounters on the way back. That's not the way this works. We're just done. We're automatically back to home now. And so basically the mission debriefing is explaining we get the victory points, we discard our ordnance, and then any ship that was resting gets a -2. All right, so we're done. So now we go back to the beginning of a mission and the mission setup phase all over. No, not the mission setup, but the mission execution. So, nope, that's not that either. Yeah, we go back to mission setup. My apologies. So we're going to start at 4.1 and start over again. And that is, the first step, of course, is priority R&R and all that jazz. So, let's see, we're at 50 minutes. The biggest takeaway here is our ships are pretty stressed, and that one is damaged. And the only way to repair the hull damage is to not let it go in the next mission. So that means I need to replace it. I mean, I could just go out with 3 ships. But it really is going to depend on, okay, where's our mission and how far do we have to go and all that stuff. So the determining factor is when do we decide who goes on the mission? And I don't think we have to decide yet. So the first thing we do is priority R&R. All right, so let's wrap up the scenario here. So the victory points earned, actually, there is a spot right here. We earned 10. 10 victory points. I forgot. The target was destroyed, so that's where the X is going to go. The SO points remaining, we used 6. We had 24. We used 16. So that's 8 left, right? So we had 8. We got 8 for this mission, or encounter, so that's 16, 19, 20, 24 is what's remaining. That's a lot, folks. I'm very happy with that. Okay, so now we are in the next, we're up to the next target, right? So we're going to do the priority R&R, which is -10. So I'm going to do a -10 here, right? So that 24 is actually 14. But we're going to do priority R&R. And so what priority R&R says, spend 10 SO points to remove 2 stress from every ship, helicopter, and commander. So we're going to do that for the helicopters. The commander is going to go down to that, and it's also plus the cool. So this is 6 -2, but he has a cool value of 1, so it actually becomes 3. So he's got 3 stress. And then this is 8, has a cool value of 1, so -3. He's at 5. And then this one is 5 -2, which puts us to 3. And then 4 -3 gets him down to 1. So you can see I still have some high stress on some of these, but it's not so bad. And a viewer commented that a cool value of 1 is very powerful in this game because the main task force ships only gain 1 stress per encounter, and if you have a value of 1 cool, you're actually basically negating the stress. Now the front ships need a cool value of 2 to be able to negate all the stress. The Spruance has a value of 1, so he's getting half the stress every time, which, as you can tell, he's managing it really well. And with the priority R&R, he only has 1 stress at the moment. This is all good. I mean, you know, none of this is bad in any way. If I have to buy a ship to let the John Rogers rest just so I can replace it for one mission, I think I'm going to buy like a crappy freighter. And now I'm starting to really appreciate why those frigates are cheap. Because I don't necessarily want to go bonkers and spend 20 SO points for something. But I'm not at that step yet. I don't have to make that decision. So the next step is we're going to see what our target is. So we're going to draw from the target deck, and here we go. We drew 28 enemy armed merchants. And it has an improvement where you're going to lose 2 SO points for every round that this stays alive. I'm okay because I actually want to go after this one, and here's why. Let's show you on the screen here. S28 is there. So it's just bing, bing, 2 steps in, and then we're out. So one of those task forces don't even matter. And in fact, do we redo those? Yes, we're going to roll for TF placement again. So that's going to change, but it's only going in 2, right? It's not as bad as the last one where we had to go 1, 2, 3, 4, right? This is only 1, 2 in, and then we're out. Okay, so I like that about this one, and it is 4 victory points, so it's still really good. It does have its armed merchants and a Foxtrot sub, so there's nothing bad about this one at all. I'm actually going to definitely enjoy that, and also because it's a little in and little out, it means that we could possibly, we're not going to accumulate a whole bunch of stress. Now, we might not get a whole bunch of experience points either, but from a stress perspective, we should be good. Okay, so we did that. We have our target selected, and then we get our mission SO points. And for this one, as you can see there, we get 22. And that 22 is in addition to the 14, because we had 24, we spent 10. We're at 14, we add 22 more. So 22, 32, 36. So we start this week with 36, and we're going to do mission 28. All right, so we have 36 SO points to do this mission. And this is where we can buy some skills. We got to buy our ordnance. We got to, what else do we do? Skills, ordnance. Oh, and then I can purchase a ship so the John Rogers can rest and repair the damage. Now, the Lady Gulf and these other ships are going to accumulate more stress if I take them out on the mission. That's another thing I gotta take into consideration. Not sure exactly what to do about that, but that's all part of the decision making. And I'm actually going to stop, and we will make that decision making when I get back. And in fact, I'll try to do some of it in between, because I spent an whole hour last time, as you know, trying to figure all this out. But having 36 SO points is tremendously higher than we had on the last mission, and we went deep into enemy territory and had enough ordnance and everything for it. But I do have to buy a ship, because that John Rogers, I mean, I could take it with us, but I don't want to risk it. It has damage. I want it to repair that damage. And any ship that doesn't go on a mission with us automatically repairs. And all damage on rested ships is removed except for hull damage. And if a rested ship has hull damage, reduce it by 1. So he will completely repair if I don't take him on this mission. So I think that's definitely what I need to do. But it means I have to buy a ship. A lesson learned here is I don't need 4 ships with 4 helicopters. That's for sure. I still think the helicopters are powerful, though, folks. It's just that, you know, we haven't had a lot of sub battles. What else? What else do I need to think about here? I think. Oh, and then the other thing is we want to possibly get some skills. So let's look at those real quick. Now these skills, they get activated by the commander, but some of them are passive. So like SAM Attack 10, that gets activated by the commander, because that's why it says expend. So basically this is you get to attack an aircraft, and it's an automatic 10 roll. I'm pretty sure on that one. That's very powerful if you're doing anti-air stuff. You know, it's crazy. It's not even written on the rulebook. The rulebook has a list of all the commander skills you can purchase, and this isn't one of them. So that must have been a last-minute ad. Oh, no, it's called Timely. All right, so this was called Timely. I guess they just didn't put the word Timely on it. So Timely says, expend, treat a SAM attack roll as a 10. So basically, you don't have to roll. You get an automatic 10. That's pretty cool. I think there's some very cool skills here. And give me a second. I think we have ourselves some... There we go. Maybe that's a little bit better. Alright, so that's SAM Attack 10. Next one we have is +3 attack if the ship is damaged. Well, that would be great for the John Rogers, right? +1 sub-detect range, which is not as helpful if we're using the expansion we're using. Although with the sonar thing, it could help there. +2 SSN, SSGN attacks. I don't think that helps us at all, because we're not controlling subs. +1 experience per stress from missile. So like that missile gave us 3 stress. We would get 3 experience points for that. That's interesting. +2 attack against damaged ships. So if the other ship is damaged, we get attack. So far, the only one I like is the SAM one. These other ones, I'm actually going to push them off the camera. So far, the only one I like is this one so far. 2 less experience to promote. Oh, that's really good. You need that one early, though. +2 stress instead of damage. That one's not bad. I'm going to put it in a lower tier. Oops. After encounter roll D10, if you have an 8 or a better, reduce 2 stress. Oh, that's every time? I like that one. -2 stress per shaken. I think you have to be shaken. Then you're going to expend this to lose 2 stress. Okay, that's not too bad. 2 TF ships +2 SOs for SAMs. So I don't know what that means. I mean, I think I know what it means, but... Each ship gets 2 SOs to purchase SAM Ordnance Mission. So 2 of our ships will get an extra 2 SO points for purchasing anti-air. That's not bad. +4 detection. Ooh. Now this is per encounter, but I really like that. I'm actually going to put that up there. That's really good. +1 cool. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's passive. You don't even have to use an action for that one. Attack after enemy movement. Interesting. So if they move into range, you can immediately attack them. That could be very powerful. Could. +2 repair rolls. Well, that's always good, but I'm going to put it down lower. Half SO frigate. Remove if target not destroyed. I don't know what that means either. Let me check. Pay half SO points for his frigate. Oh, this is called on loan. So you pay half cost for a frigate, and then if the target is not destroyed, you lose them. Because they give it to you. Basically, the frigate's being given to you on loan. Well, that might be worth it, because I'm planning on buying a frigate right now. And so it's going to be this particular... I just need a temporary ship. So I'll buy this skill for that temporary ship. That's awesome. And then I can buy them for half price. Okay, let me do some thinking in between videos. My son is, just on a personal note, he's been off to college, and he's actually home this week. So I've done a lot of recording because he is home for particular reasons, and he's not always home. But he will be home for the rest of the evening. So you may not see any more videos from me the rest of the night. I am definitely engaged and enjoying this game. But hopefully I've gotten you guys far enough along that you get the feel for the game. I felt like the rules were wonky for a bit, and we were a little unstable. So I think for this next target, the rules are going to be a lot more solid. And I don't know how to, maybe I'm going to put a small little video into the series to let people know that at the start of Mission 2, which is what is that going to be? Part 8 of this series. That is when the rules got stabilized, and had a chance to talk with Dean, all that stuff, so that way people can experience a cleaner mission without us debating over stuff. So that's what I'm hoping to accomplish the next time I get on, is that we'll have a lot cleaner playthrough. I always experience this anytime there's a brand new game and some of the rules are, not fully, cleared up. But I know for people that are coming in and want to actually learn how to play, it could be frustrating. So I definitely want to give them a clean run. So, anyways, like I said, I'm going to be a little bit busy, but I'm definitely engaged and I want to play. So, hoping to get back to this sometime soon. And thanks for watching. As always, stay awesome.